First, the top news headlines. National Investigation Agency to take over Turachanpur ambush case. Proposal under consideration, say officials of Ministry of Home Affairs. Civil society organizations submit complaint letter to SP Imphal West demanding action against freedom fighter Ranegadillu, defamer. Asked what seventh-term MLA had done during his time, asserts MLA Karamshyam. And India registers 8,774 fresh COVID cases, 621 deaths in last 24 hours. Moves to 98.34%. Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the Mami TV English News Bulletin. I'm ALBINA RIAMEI. The National Investigation Agency NIA will soon take over the Turachanpur ambush case, which has claimed the life of an Assam Rifle colonel, his wife and child, as well as 4 of his colleagues from the state police. An official in the Ministry of Home Affairs said that a proposal sent by the NIA linked to the case has been received and is under consideration. The official said that the ministry will issue an order to the NIA anytime this week or next, giving authority to the Anti-Terror Agency to take over, re-register the case and start its probe in it. A senior NIA official also confirmed that the agency sent a proposal to the ministry last week to issue a formal order to take over the ambush case from the state police. On November 13, the insurgent groups PLA and MNPF ambushed a convoy of 46 Assam Rifles around 11 a.m., leading to the mass killing of the 5 Assam Rifles personnel, including Colonel Biplav Tripathi and his family in Tinghat area near Sekan village in Turachanpur district. Condemning the derogatory remark made against freedom fighter Ranegadillu on social media by Dr. Mark T. Haukip, 10 different civil society organizations of the state have submitted a complaint letter to SP Imphal West, Dr. S. Ibomcha, to take befitting against the person at the earliest. Speaking to media on the sidelines, Vice President of IPSA, Kurajam Athauba, termed it unfortunate that one Dr. Mark T. Haukip posted the derogatory remark against the woman freedom fighter who fought courageously for the freedom of Manipur and India on social media. He maintained that the 10 organizations take the matter seriously and that it is an insult and challenge to the people of the state. Athauba also stated that the complaint report will be submitted to the Chief Minister too and demanded to take befitting action against the person within 72 hours.
Deliberately, Lebasigi, Lai Weraba, freedom fighter Amobumana, Duktina Ngangba, Shitana, Aduga Union Minister, Home Minister Amit Shada, Mana Magi Twitter account, the Tek Toraga, Mana India Pumbada, Ekogi Dumlava, Pasakraba, Poradumana, Mangtokna Honora Pose, Mahaki Matakta, Chapchaba inquiries Tarakanda, Mahaki profile history, Mahaki Karai de Horopono, Kamdo Mino, Kamainato Hose, Lengakpana Miamda. Chapchana Magi profile, Tamgadavani, Adugi Matung in the Miam, the Sumagi Matak, Chapchaba, Ekoi, Tabakani, have a from say.
MLA of Langtabal Assembly constituency Karamshyam has asserted that instead of asking him what developmental works had been taken up during 10 years of him being the MLA of the constituency, asked the ex-MLA who had served for 7 terms what all he had done during his tenure. MLA Karamshyam said this during an interaction program with people of polling number 20/2 and 20/3 Khongnang Phaidekpi in the constituency who have extended their support to him today. Speaking further at the event held at the residence of ex-candidate of the constituency, Ningombam Nilakumar, Karamshyam stated that The constituency, which had been lagging behind in different sectors, has been significantly developed during the past 10 years with him as the representative of the people of the constituency. He stated that he serves the people of the constituency as his own family and treats all the people equally, which is evident from all the developmental work he had undertaken during the past 10 years. Stating that there is no partiality on his part like that of the ex-MLA, he maintained that there can be no development when their business is in politics. Karamshyam also affirmed that he had been taking up equal developmental works in all the 40 polling stations of the constituency with rupees 2 crore local area development funds sanctioned for the constituency.
I wakalonje kangdaba yawrambayai haibagidam kaina tamjabane. I whole Landabal Kendra imung manungum kallaga thabak tawbane I sub pandam never. Maduma sahi tara dain utkre. I Chembir Mayam nobody high. Tamo, Konang Bagi with the boat pangis, I be a no. Madu high with the Prazanas, howdy. Pang the roof on the avenue to the days on the island. Ado, Ramshan the Konang Bagi neglect of Rava. Oh dear. Young Bune. Ising my thing Chahini poo from them. Why can't what way? I am to the pit over. Ado, and they cut a deep hung ever. Cut a deep hung a time, Chahini poo in Matunda.
Meanwhile, India reported 8,774 new COVID-19 cases, 621 deaths in the last 24 hours, 5.5% higher than yesterday, according to data shared by the Union Health Ministry. The fresh COVID cases brought the country's cumulative caseload to 3.45 crore. A total of 9,481 patients recovered in the last 24 hours, which led the total recoveries to 3.39 crore across the country. The recovery rate now stood at 98.34%. India's active caseload stood at 1.05 lakh in the last 24 hours, and the active cases declined by 1,328. Meanwhile, the total reported death count increased to 4.67 lakh. So far, a total of 82.86 lakh vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours, which brought the total tally of doses administered to 121.94 crore. Rightful Election Movement REM organized a grand consultative conference for Haji's name Mufti-e-Kiram on the theme No Cash for Vote at Islamic Baby English School at Lilong yesterday. Ustad Maulana Alhas Saifuddin of Darul Ulum Markaz, Manipur, graced the event as the president Attendees at the conference took pledge not to accept money in exchange of their voting rights, with the belief that bribery to garner votes and accepting the money by the voters is against the Islamic law. The conference also arrived at different resolutions. Speaking about the resolutions, convener of REM, Mufti Sabir, said Shariat is against distribution of or acceptance of money and gifts for vote, organizing fees and attending functions by women. Mufti Sabir also stated that it was also resolved to organize No Cash for Vote campaign by holding corner meeting of 5 to 10 mohalla along with REM to raise awareness about the same among the people. Former minister and BJP intending candidate of Kumbi Assembly constituency and Mangi has stated the constituency would have been doomed if an amateur was voted to power. He was speaking at a tambal campaign held at Wangu Gram Panchayat in the constituency today. The tambal campaign, organized by Wangu Gram Panchayat 29 by 22, 29 by 23, 29 by 24 Committee for N Mangi Election Management Committee, was carried out from Wangu Ahalup Mayai Laikai till Wangu Tampa Lairem Bithong. Speaking further, N Mangi's appeal to the people to vote for an experienced leader who would work for the welfare of the constituency. Voting for the right candidate will bring a new Kumbi constituency, a new Wangu and a new Manipur at large, he said. Mangi added that the Tambal campaign was launched with an objective to provide the benefits of water supply schemes, housing for all schemes introduced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Anauwa Kumbi Kendra, Anauwa Wangu, Anauwa Manipur, Laira Bakokpa, Aduga Loinana, Aikoi, Nungai Belongi, Lavuk the Ishing Leva, Baraki Pradhan Mantrigi, Tanganava Ishing Puk Tanapianba, Aduga Loinana, Hoxing for all, Unamaki Yum Saba, हाइबा मयाम से तौरकांदा अखोई मधुगीदमक्ता थंबाल से कैंपेन तौबनी सोइदना थाजई हुजिकिसे प्रजाना हाइबको टिकेट तुदा पाइरखो
Member of Wangu Borayangbi Jila Parisat M. Brojan, Pradhan of Wangu Terakhong Gram Panchayat P. Baleshwar and members of the polling committee took part in the campaign. Officials of Forest Beat Office, Kakching Range conducted a drive to check poaching of birds at Laushipat, Korungpat, Khoidumpat and Pumlenpat since last midnight. Speaking to media on the sidelines, Kakching Range Forest Officer and Munal Maitei stated that the forest officials have been carrying out the drive day and night since November 1 to safeguard the migratory birds roosting in different lakes of the district. Munal further said that no bird traps were seized during today's drive and that it is because of the efforts of the Forest Department with assistance from the public. On the other hand, he termed it unfortunate that the number of migratory birds sighted in the lakes except in western side of Khoidumpat has drastically decreased from previous years. The range forest officer also maintained that catching of these migratory birds is a crime against nature which will lead to disruption of natural processes and ecological balance. He also reminded that when a bird trap is found, even if the person who set up the trap could not be arrested, owner of the land where the trap was found can be jailed for 3 years term or can be fined rupees 25,000 or both. Imphal More Highway Welfare Committee observed its 14th Foundation Day on the campus of Nungau Rock Baptist Church yesterday. Tributes were offered to 4 departed founder members of the committee and appreciation certificates were also presented to the family members on the occasion. Village chiefs and headmen of surrounding villages along Imphal More Road also attended the observance. Speaking on the occasion, President of the committee, L. Subhas Chandra said, the Imphal More Highway Welfare Committee was formed along with chiefs of villages along Imphal More Road in 2007 with an objective to check the frequent crimes along the national highways, including loots and extortion of money to an extent. He stated that the committee has not only made the commuters on the road convenient, but has also been distributing Christmas gifts in the surrounding villages with an aim to strengthen the bond among the communities coexisting in the area. The committee will continue to work for the welfare of the people and society at large, Subhas Chandra added.
नत्रगा मखोई मुनबी बदगी नत्र लापी गिदगी मधु नमदा कपग हलखिबा जरा हिंगिबा मसासिनदी मयुमदा लागा इमान सेंग वालकनी पोटु योलग सेंग वालकनी इमान खता लेबिरकनी बोय लेबिरकनी लाई लेबिरकनी हाइना गाइदा लेबा मसासिन जरा हेला कप अदु अवा कयाम सिंदो ngasi kwai nakna akoina lalon bada khulung chaba khangaba mori sida masi mori na bisu thuam.
In the 83rd edition of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's monthly Man Ki Baat address, he said that he do not seek power, he wants to serve the people. He was in conversation with a beneficiary of the Ayushman Bharat Yojana, which he said is a scheme to help the poor avail healthcare facilities. In his address, Prime Minister Modi spoke about India's startups, emphasized the need to protect nature and pay tribute to the armed forces. He ended by stating that the COVID-19 pandemic is not over yet and people must remain cautious. Speaking about the startup culture in India, Prime Minister Modi said, "We are at a turning point in India's growth story. Youngsters are not only job seekers but also job creators." The Prime Minister also said that countries with young populations have 3 characteristics: ideas and innovation, ability to take risks and can-do spirit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today skipped an all-party meeting called by his government a day before the start of the winter session of Parliament. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal were present from the government side. The Congress demanded that compensation be paid to families of farmers who pass away during the protests. The fuel price rise and tensions with China at the line of actual control were also raised by the Grand All-Party. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahalad Joshi denied that the Prime Minister violated a tradition by skipping the all-party meet. AAP leader Sanjay Singh walked out of the all-party meeting alleging he was not allowed to speak. Mr. Singh wanted to raise the farmers' demand for low on minimum support prices. Amid the ongoing military standoff between India and China along the border, China has started building new highways and roads and deploying missile and rocket regiments near eastern Ladakh, as per sources. The missile and rocket regiments of the Chinese army have been deployed in greater numbers in the rare locations in Tibet Autonomous Region, and camouflage shelters have been built there, sources said. The deployment of drones for surveillance has also reportedly increased. According to sources, China's military infrastructure upgrade is significant as they are widening highways and constructing new airstrips apart from the main bases in Kasgar, Gargunsa and Hotan. Before we end the bulletin, let's look at the top news headlines once again. National Investigation Agency to take over Turachanpur ambush case proposal under consideration, say officials of Ministry of Home Affairs. Civil society organizations submit complaint letter to SP Imphal West demanding action against freedom fighter Ranegadillu defamer. Asked what seventh-term MLA had done during his time, asserts MLA Karam Shyam. India registers 8,774 fresh COVID cases, 621 deaths in last 24 hours. Recovery rate further improves to 98.34%. With that, it's a wrap for this evening news bulletin. Thank you for joining us. Have a great evening.